Let's do it, guys. Today's show is brought to you by something we all need, especially if you're a Browns fan, and that is therapy. And BetterHelp is where you should be going to get your therapy if you need some extra help. As the days get shorter and the nights come earlier, it can start to feel a little heavy, especially when life is already packed with work, family, and everything else. This season, it's so important to reach out and check in with friends, family, or even yourself, just like checking on a teammate or reconnecting with someone you haven't seen in a while can lift your spirits. Reaching out for therapy can make a real difference, too. BetterHelp makes that first step easier by connecting you with a licensed therapist online from wherever you are. This month, don't wait to reach out, whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself. BetterHelp makes it simple to take that first step. UCSS listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That is betterhelp.com/lockedon, because the sooner that step toward support might just leave you wondering, why didn't I do this sooner?
You know, the last time the Browns were good, of course, consistently, was when Bernie Kosar was the quarterback. And obviously Bernie's going through it right now. He had an emergency procedure last night. He's waiting on a transplant. It's, you know, he's obviously in serious condition right now. And obviously, I think all of us are texting with him a little bit. You know, even when he's going through all this, he's always reaching out to people like, make sure you're doing this, or you know, like. Right. But anyway, if anybody has some thoughts, I just want to say, you know, I'm thinking of Bernie. Yeah. Man, hope for the best for him.
Man, we could use all the prayer soldiers out there, man. You know, Bernie is over the last couple of years, I got to know him like on a personal level, just because of some of the health conditions I went through, and he would always check up on me. I'm like, dang, that's kind of cool, but to see him at this point. And we just praying for his speedy recovery and to
get that liver.
Yeah, man, because he's a big part of the community. You're a big part of Browns fandom and the community. So Bernie, we all praying for you. We know you matter, and you're gonna get back on your feet.
You've known him longer than anybody here.
Yeah, I think we wander into hyperbole sometimes, get wound up, but like he's an icon. He is a Northeast Ohio icon,
no doubt,
right? And like I was in kindergarten when Bernie started playing for the Browns. I remember watching the games, right? Yeah. And he's been around, so everybody's rooting for him. Just saw him last, 2 Thursdays ago.
Yeah.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
Talked to him.
Yeah.
And he's a genuinely good person.
He really is.
Yes.
He's so kind to everybody. He's always willing to sign an autograph. He's always willing to take a picture with people. I mean, he's all over the place. Like, it's like Bernie's in Miami, and Bernie's here, and Bernie's there, and he's
with Taylor Swift.
I know, right? It's just crazy, and it's hard to believe. You think about it. I obviously, unlike you guys, I didn't grow up here, but as a big football fan as a kid, like watching Bernie Kosar when you get to watch him on TV, it was like. And now the guys in you texting with him, and it's hard to believe as a kid that I would be friendly with Bernie Kosar, but
y'all stop traffic to talk to each other.
That's true.
The first time I ever talked to Bernie one-on-one, he launched into this story where he drew up a play in 1989 to beat Rod Woodson, and he knew the exact detail.
It's amazing.
He was grabbing a Gatorade cup and showing, this is where he was looking, and this is what I did, and it was 2009 when this happened.
It's nuts,
and it was like, oh. Okay, that's pretty cool.
He's still sharp.
He may forget the rest of everything else, but he still remembers plays and who did this and picking off Belichick and all that.
I told them, I sent an email to the Cleveland Browns front office that said, you called Dillon the supercomputer, that's taste infringement. The first and only supercomputer,
no doubt,
is Bernie Kosar. Understand this, people. Bernie Kosar called his own plays. Understand how crazy that is. That means protection schemes. That means he was almost like a catcher. I'm gonna call what I feel like and get in the flow. How does that even work, man? That'll never happen again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is amazing. In my opinion,
serious clout to do that.
Super clout.
In my opinion, the organization really hasn't done right by him over the years, but I guess that's another story for another day.
Even Patrick Mahomes
Bernie.
is still doing the hand thing for plays because he don't get to call his own stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bernie.
All right, Mike.
You guys have Zach. Ask away.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I was like, we just did a read.
Zach, what was your thoughts after the Jets loss?
Is that a new low, in
a way, right? Look, there were some offensive improvements, which kind of sums it all up, right? I thought the new play caller injected a little bit of life. The rollouts gave the quarterback a little bit of of a chance, right? They mix some things up. But the same story, 95-yard drive, super impressive. Punt right after.
Right.
You know, opportunities to get more, they miss. And then on 4th and 1, what is going on there, right? Like, he's got to get rid of it. It reminded me of last year on 4th down in Las Vegas. You got to throw up, you got to give the guy a chance, right? It's 4th down. What's the worst that's going to happen?
That's right.
And then they should have gotten the ball back, but we all know it probably wasn't going anywhere. But it was just a bad football game. And so, yeah, is that bottom when you give up 2 returns in the same quarter and when you're jumping off sides when they're not running a play, when you're picking up defensive holding when there's no way in the world that they're throwing that ball? Like, that's just bad football, and that's how you lose. The Jets were bad. In person, the Jets' defense was as bad as Cincinnati's. Just so slow, so out of place. The Browns got 20 points. Man. I know bad ball, Tyvis.
Why you got to put it like
you are the aficionado of bad ball.
So me and G was looking at some stuff yesterday, and we was looking at, it was a play where that 4th and 1 play. Do you think that the height thing is just? Do you think it's the height? Because I'm like, he should have anticipation on David Njoku. Even if not, he should be able to scan back and see Cedric Tillman. Do you think it's the height, or do you think he just don't have the anticipation?
I do think there are times that the height does come into play. But I think on this one, he looked the wrong way. He made the wrong hot read. He was supposed to look this way. The blitz came. I think Joel Bitonio said it, and Dillon kind of said it himself after the game, that they anticipated the blitz, and when they saw it coming, he looked the wrong way, ended up having to tuck it in and get sacked for the 6th time. So, but that is like, you should probably be running in that spot.
Yeah. Probably.
But definitely you have to throw it to somebody.
Have to. Doesn't matter if you just chuck it up for grabs. It's
beg for PI or the ball to get tipped up and somebody else catches it that's not supposed to.
Do you think that the receivers are frustrated?
Oh, no doubt. Okay. I mean, I think they're frustrated in general, right? And it's been a frustrating season. I don't put week 1 on the kicker. I put it on the 2 interceptions that came on passes that went off the hands. Mm-hmm. You know, and Jerry Jeudy finally looked like an NFL receiver last week, and they lost.
Best game,
right? It wasn't a perfect game by him. No. It wasn't a perfect game by the quarterback. I think that was part of what was better, right? Let's get Jeudy the ball in favorable positions. They saw some coverages. They threw underneath to him. They got him going. You want him to catch it with room to run. Catching it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you have to sometimes you can win 20-17. And if you're going to win this week, that's your blueprint. Maybe 16-15, maybe 10-9, right?
Yeah.
But like if you're only getting to this point mark, if you're only if you're just hitting the ceiling, and that's what they've done. No one puts all the blame on Dillon, right? No one knows for sure if there's a better alternative. But Dillon's numbers are worst or second worst in the league in every single category.
Everything.
And it has nothing to do with the numbers. It matches what we see.
Right. Right, absolutely. You know, what's crazy to me is, like, you think about it. You have the best defensive player in the league on your D-line. Your rookie linebacker is the favorite, a big favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Your top corner is maybe the best corner in the league, certainly top 5 in the league. Mm-hmm. So you have an absolute superstar at all 3 levels.
And Grant Delpit is playing, to me, some of the best football he's played.
Absolutely. It's his
he's
best
playing
season.
Great.
Yes.
And you're getting good play throughout the defensive line.
Malik Collins has been great. Mason Graham has not been great every game, but he's been great in a few of them. Yes.
Like, it's the Browns' offense only needs to be mediocre for them to be a legit, maybe not a team that can win the Super Bowl, but a team that can be a playoff team. And it's just so far from mediocre that they're not even close to being a playoff team.
We've been talking since October 1st about if you just float along and just beat the Jets, that you set up, you're still alive in mid-November. Right. It's a bad product across the division, across the league, but they could have been alive. Instead, now it's like, well, at least you're still alive for the number 1 pick, because they wouldn't have been if they'd have won last week.
That's true.
But again, however you look at it, whatever excuse you make, this is going to be 2 straight 3-win seasons. And you have an offensive head coach, and you have a front office that obviously made a huge mistake and had a chance this year to at least show they're moving forward. And there's some good rookies, but this doesn't feel like a rebuild.
No.
No, it just feels like bad football all over again, because the offensive numbers are the same. The offensive product is unwatchable again. Yes. And again, you have these defensive standouts. You have 1 more than last year. 1.5. The Delpit's definitely having a better year. But where do you think this is going? Right? The best players on this team are still the older guys, with the exception of Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Right? And the offense is still unwatchable.
Right.
If the Browns end up with the number 1 pick, do they have to take Fernando Mendoza?
I mean, you know, him or Ty Simpson, probably. Do you have to take a quarterback in that situation? Sure. You know, Dane Brugler, who I trust, the best tackle is number 10 on his early list. That doesn't mean you couldn't take him. Right, but you would probably in this situation have to take the quarterback, and then that would open up the whole rest of your draft.
They trade the pick, wouldn't they?
Well, if the quarterback is that good, you would have to take him.
What does Dane think about these quarterbacks?
He's worried.
Which I can understand.
Well, and look, and Ty Simpson's on the charge. He's got 13 career starts.
Yeah.
Or 13 career appearances, I think. He's going to have 13 by the end of the year, depending on how long they go.
Right.
In Mendoza, he graduated from Cal in 3 years.
Yeah.
He played pretty high level football. He's obviously playing a super high level this year. Like, he is kind of asserting himself. But everybody else is a project, and all the senior quarterbacks have flopped. Klubnik, Nussmeier. Now, there's different reasons in there.
Yeah.
But Tyvis, this could go a million different ways, and we will have this conversation a million different times. But if you have the number one pick, you almost have to take the quarterback, and then it's open from there.
Sorry, Keith. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm sorry I haven't got in there quick enough because it's all right. Let me wrap my head around this. Okay, if they drafting a quarterback, right, and because they got the first pick, are these guys the one drafting that quarterback?
To me, no. To me, there's no chance. We've been over it. What's your resume? Deshaun Watson and Dillon Gabriel.
There's no way that
That's
it's
right.
the new.
No way I trust them.
Yeah.
Like so. The second part of that question is, I can't help but feel a level of tension, air of from the outside looking in. It at one point in time it felt like everybody was saying the same, beating to the same drum, but now I don't kind of see that. I see that one guy likes one quarterback. There's people who obviously drafted another quarterback that they said they're gonna see him. D. Podesta decides to take a job. Maybe that was hey, you might want to go find something because we might not bring it back type deal. And the general manager ain't speaking. I mean, are these guys kumbaya like they used to tell us all the time?
I don't think so. I mean, it's going to be 6 wins in 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's the main discussion point, right? Let me throw this at you. Do you want to take 1 at 1, or do you want to trade pick 34 for Mac Jones and go forward that way?
Trade what pick?
Pick 34. You're top of your second round
Why
pick.
I got to be that one? Why can't it
Because
be
he's
30?
under contract for making no money, so why wouldn't someone else want him? Why
I'm
couldn't
saying-
you?
no,
Why would the Niners just take a third? Why wouldn't they just ask for more? They're probably going to ask for pick 14.
I'm gonna tell them kick rock.
I'm not trading the first
Okay. Then you got to take one.
You want to trade a first round pick for Mac Jones?
No, I'm saying you want to take.
Yeah, no.
The starting point's going to be the top of that second.
Or Kyler Murray. Well, I like better
Definitely
than
not Kyler
I
Murray.
ain't taking.
I like Kyler Murray better than Mac Jones, but I don't want him either.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
You like Kyler Murray back?
Better than Mac Jones.
It's the same thing as Dillon. It's just
He's at least at least with Kyler Murray, you can be mediocre.
You can't make the case for Kyler Murray here.
No.
He's too small. He's busted. He makes too much money. Mac Jones makes the minimum contract.
Agreed.
That's
I'm
why
just
he's going to
saying,
get traded for
I think he's a better quarterback than Mac Jones. I'm not saying trade for him.
Probably.
Yeah.
But he's not going to succeed.
But I don't
here.
want him either. I don't want him either.
And I'm not saying Mac Jones is going to succeed. I'm just throwing out this scenario.
So
right, I got you.
So if that scenario, Jimmy, let me talk to you real quick. If that's the scenario, big dog, listen, after this Ravens game, the risk got to be up. All right, we ain't got no time to be talking about more time and give him an opportunity. And that 160 game, Shedeur Sanders might be in this game against the Raiders. Because if we moving that way that fast, and it's Mendoza or Simpson, I need a 5, 6, 7 game runway. I got to see him play immediately. I'm done looking at the rest of this stuff then.
Can I ask Zach a question real quick on what you just said?
No, you can't.
Thank you. We kind of discussed this in layman's terms and on the perimeters earlier in the week, but I heard Mary Kay on the radio this morning. She was on with Ken and Lima, and they asked her, have you heard from any players clamoring for Shedeur behind the scenes, like calling for him, it's his time? I'm just curious. You're in there as much as anyone else. Have you heard any? She said no, by the way.
No, I have not heard that, and Lima's been beating that drum, right? Like,
right.
It's a fair question because you do hear that generally, but I think people have hit the wall. No, I think what I heard was the frustration about the defense, the penalties last week, and the obvious frustration about the special teams.
Yeah.
But like you just look, he's not a developmental quarterback right now. He's a quarterback who's hit the wall, right? You have your picture painted of who Dillon Gabriel is because he has done nothing but go backwards since that first game.
That's right.
He is overmatched, and the numbers say that, and the eye test says it, and the reality says that he always was. But they put him out here. They rushed him in. They didn't do him any favors. They're not doing him any favors with this receiving core. But it's very clear he is not going to be an NFL quarterback, and that has been the case since the spring.
And that's why I can't listen to this Shador Sanders is not ready. Because even if he's not, neither is Dillon Gabriel. So Just play him.
Yeah.
And if he stinks, he stinks.
Well, it's so bad that the argument automatically takes off in a different direction, right? Like,
right.
Those two are not really related. Like, was Dillon ready to play? Sure. He just can't do it. With
Fair.
Shedeur,
Okay,
it's
good
totally different.
Yeah, that's true.
And like we have said, maybe the one way out, because we're talking about Mac Jones here 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe the one way out is for Shedeur to be the answer, for Shedeur to be the starter.
Right.
Oh, why not number 4?
Because we've seen him play. He's made 19 starts here in Cleveland.
He's making a comeback.
I don't think so. I still am.
He's not going to play.
I still be very surprised if he's on the field.
It's the Browns, so you never know.
The door is open.
Yeah.
And can I debunk it? This talking point got to die too.
What's that?
The whole, if somebody would have saw him play and the players would have seen him, somebody would have been saying something. Name me the last player that jumped on record when a reporter said, "Hey, what do you think about the quarterback?"
Well, not on record. Nobody's going to say something on record.
Here's,
guys could be saying something off the record.
Hey, listen, I don't know how many. So let me just tell you.
Last time a backup got any recognition for being good and should be playing was Brock Purdy when he was a rookie.
There's more recent.
How
Go back to Joe Flacco in 2023. We were hearing about in practice he was tearing up the. I mean, Jason came in was like these dudes won't stop talking about how Joe Flacco torched this defense.
Maybe I gotta just stand. Do I gotta do backflips off this table?
Yes.
Because I done told you multiple times on this show.
Yes.
I said my phone went off the hook last week. I don't even know these folks. They're like, listen, we tired of seeing this. We're tired.
Players?
Yes.
Okay.
We're tired. And by the way, I keep trying to, these ain't no special teamers. You do the math. It ain't special teams dudes running down on kickoff.
I hear you. So, yeah, I don't.
So here's the thing. The reality of the situation is it ain't up to the players to decide who it is. The decision is on Kevin Stefanski to play the guy who gives you an opportunity to do something. And we've obviously seen that he's not the dude. We've seen it. But we have to sit here and pretend. Why are we pretending?
Are we?
Yeah, no, we're not pretending. We're not pretending. Some people are pretending.
Yeah, some people are.
Some people still pretending. But no, I'm talking about.
Here is.
I'm talking about in the bigger picture.
I think it's a small percentage of people that are pretending at this point.
Look, Shedeur played in the first preseason game on a Friday night, right? And then the next week they went to Philly for the biggest part of the training camp. And he got hurt. He did not participate that week.
Right.
Then he played the next week and he flopped. So he did not do himself any favors. Because that's when development ends, right? Immediately you're into season mode. And they traded away Kenny Pickett and they chose Dillon Gabriel. Now they went off their own timeline. They traded Flacco, benched Flacco 6 weeks before they ever wanted to. Or at least 2 weeks before they ever wanted to. But here we are, and there's no developing going on. He's flopped. He's done.
Yeah.
Right? So it's time. It's time for Shedeur. And if Shedeur's not ready, then a part of it is on them. But
that's right.
The timeline that should to pretend that Shedeur has any trajectory is that he doesn't. No, Shedeur.
Oh, I see. Yeah, right.
He was they benched him in the preseason.
Yeah, right.
Did not let their own draft pick run a 2-minute drill against the Rams' fourth teamers.
So is there an agenda here beyond?
To me, agenda is a strong word, and I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, do I think the situation's just awful? And they're all sunk. Sure, but an agenda to keep him out, I don't see that.
So then, if unless Dillon Gabriel shocks us and plays well against Baltimore, you feel like he has to play the next week.
Coming out of the bye week, I thought he's got 8 quarters left. Yeah,
right.
4 of them
he's
are
got to. The Raiders, that's a perfect game to put him in for the first time. They stink. I know it's on the road, or I think it's on the road. Yeah. It's on the road. But they don't have a big home field advantage, and
no, it'll be all Browns fans.
Will attendance play a part in this decision?
No, but look, the optics are coming because Dillon will get booed off the field on Sunday if he doesn't play.
If Shedeur Sanders is playing, the next home game, everybody's there.
Yeah.
It's a packed house.
But
who said that? What? Didn't I say that like 2 months ago?
But that's what's looming out here. That's what's looming out here is that if it goes the way that the other last 4 have gone, then the Boo Birds are coming at home on Sunday. And it's a division game.
Right.
It's your only 425 game of the whole season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what can change.
Did you do fence riders this week?
No. I gotta go to Boo.
You gotta bring
I wanted him to at least answer it.
Well, ask him what one you want to ask him.
What do you want to ask?
One of the questions is, will he get booed before or after the end of the first quarter?
That was crazy. Yeah. That was a wild.
Based on the script, I would say after, but tell me about 9:25 to go in the second quarter.
Well, if they go 3 and out in the first drive, the Blues are coming.
They might. It's that kind of toxic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the crowd is. It going to be old Ravens fans there? People not going to go?
Tickets are going for like $11.
$6.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Six.
This is nasty.
$6 to get you in the dough.
I think it costs more to go to high school football these days.
It does.
Yeah,
They go up to a nice.
Let's talk about something positive.
Yeah.
Two rookies I want to talk about. We referenced Schlesinger earlier. Like, it's so rare these days. Like, when we were younger, it was more common. But for a middle linebacker to be this impactful, it doesn't happen that often.
No.
And he's very impactful.
Yeah, it's good scouting. It's good scheme
Yeah.
fit. It's good scouting. It's great instincts. And I mean, he wasn't supposed to play. He had a high ankle sprain.
Right.
He only had one practice, but he wanted to play.
Yeah.
Saw him out there running around about 11 o'clock Sunday morning, and I was like, this guy's going to play. And he didn't show any ill effects. So I'm sure he hurt like crazy. Right?
Yeah.
But, man, he's good.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's good. And he's everything you want them to be.
Yeah, and Judkins, in this last game, he's not getting a lot of big runs because he's getting hit in the backfield all the time. But you see the vision. You see his patience back there, and then his ability to explode through even the tiniest of holes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason he can't be a superstar, right?
I mean, I don't know about superstar, but he and Fannin both, you look at them and you're like, man, on a real offense.
Oh, my God.
These guys would be so much better.
Absolutely.
And Judkins did not have a training camp.
Tyvis, you're out of control right now. He's cracking up because I said some words that can be spun in an inappropriate direction.
It's not your fault. It's Thanksgiving.
It's not your fault.
Ty got a facial yesterday. Calm down, Ty.
No, a facial treatment.
All right, go ahead, Tyvis.
This is crazy.
Why is it that, okay, so it's the same scouting department, right? Why is it that our scouting department does a phenomenal job for defensive players but not offensive players?
I would say Jim Schwartz has some influence. And I would say each case really is different. I mean, they didn't have a first-round pick for 3 years, right?
Jed Mills, Anthony Schwartz, David Bell.
Yeah.
Perrin Winfrey.
Zac
Right,
Jackson.
Siaki Ika, right? I mean, nobody talks about that. But that was as bad as
Is
it
he in
gets.
the league?
Yeah, he is. He's in the league. He's in the
He
league.
on somebody's practice squad?
No, he was on somebody's active.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Good for him.
That's hard to believe.
It was hard to believe when I saw
But
it.
I just feel like
Zach Zinter.
I feel
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, they've drafted one offensive lineman in the last 2 drafts, and he doesn't dress on Sundays.
No.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
They did draft James Hudson.
Did these guys draft James Hudson?
Yeah, he was their developmental tackle.
Yeah.
Nasty work.
Yeah.
The only reason he's not back is because the Giants gave him money that was out of the Browns' price range.
Man.
Right.
And then they benched him immediately.
Right.
But James Hudson got a real check from the Giants.
It's just hard to believe because he was terrible.
That's
for
the
him.
state of our offensive line play
It
right
is.
now.
It is.
Wasn't he the
Which
tackle-
is scary to be in this spot. It's the state of
Yeah.
quarterback
They
play
went
and
up against
offensive
TJ
line play.
Watt.
Yeah,
yes.
right. He was the one that got killed by TJ Watt that game.
They did him no favors.
It's
Baker's last game
yeah.
on Monday night.
I mean,
yeah.
it's really hard to. Do you have anybody in mind in terms of coach, GM? Have you started thinking about that?
I mean, I've got lists that I started working on last year. But I mean, I'm not going to, I don't know what they're thinking. And I don't.
You never know what they're thinking.
You never know what they're thinking. And I
Right.
think everybody needs to take that into account.
But it is good. I mean, even though we didn't know exactly what he does, it's good that DePodesta is gone, right?
I think it says that the exit ramp is open.
Yes.
And I think you can fairly say that, and the rest.
Zach,
Yeah.
why is it that going into this season, everybody said the Browns wouldn't win no more than 4 games? Now that we're here, why is it that it's a huge uproar?
Because
your
of how
fault.
It looks. Because of how it looks.
You picked them to win 8.
I'm the only one that should be
You
upset.
got people's expectations
So that
high.
means when I'm upset, that's fair because I had expectations. You 3 did not.
Tyvis, it's easy to. I said it all off season. It's easy to sit here and say when there's no games happening that if we're only going to lose, we're going to win 3 games. We're only going to win 3 games. But when you in the moment and you sitting there week after week after week and you seeing the way it looks, reality hits you in the face.
But you knew that.
You truly
Ty, you ever
don't
try
know.
fasting?
You truly don't know until it hits you in your mouth.
And when you lose every close game outside of the Packers game, like games you had a chance to win,
They did the same thing last year.
Yeah.
And it was bad
It
last
was bad
year
year too.
Well, I mean,
And I wanted them to go last year.
and they ran everything back. So like, y'all, what did you think was going to happen?
Well,
just
you
keep
talked me
running
into
them
8
back.
and 9.
Shut up, bull.
You gonna keep running
Don't
them?
blame me. You're the one who said it.
I'll give you this, just real quick.
Yeah.
At some point, when I look at the Giants and I look at Dable getting fired, they're in the same position as the Browns. They drafted high. They actually drafted the quarterback, and he actually plays decent. So his offense is better than the Browns. He got fired. what makes this different from the Giants?
Well, I think probably a lot does make it different from the Giants, but it's a valid question, right? Like, Dable's time was up. He had to win this year, and he didn't. He didn't make it to Thanksgiving.
Right.
And like, this team's not winning, and every game looks the same, and he's played all his cards, including a second straight unprecedented giving up the play calling.
Right. Wild.
There's no quarterback plan. There's no punch in the offense. There's no way to score. Like, it looks too much the same. To me, this is just inevitable. What do you really solve, Garrett, in a midseason coach fire?
I know. He can stay around. He can stick around and call the play.
Right. I'm just saying, to me, this has been on an easy path.
Yeah.
This has been on an easy path since mid-October.
Zach, good stuff. Thank you for joining us as always. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning on the podcast. And that's it. Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, guys.